Good morning and welcome, everyone. Good morning. This morning we are going to share with you the concept, the principle of extravagant tenderness. This is part of the title of a new book authored by Father Greg Boyle of Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. And what is significant here is that Father Greg offers another way for us Unitarian Universalists to look deeper into the meaning of our own first principle, namely, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Homeboy Industries has been radically transforming the lives of those who seek to re-enter a new life of opportunity, free from gang membership, free from drugs, free from fear and intimidation. Homeboy Industries provides tattoo removal, individual and group counseling, classroom instruction on reading and writing and job training. It's a great organization. And what is remarkable about this program, which has been around since 1988, is the way they directly apply this principle of extravagant kindness, which is our topic for today, and tenderness to transform lives that have been shattered by gang membership and criminal activity. Let me give you an example of one of the graduates from there so you really understand what they're doing. One graduate's name is Jose, who got out of prison and couldn't find a job because of his prison background. He would apply to a job and work there for a week as a warehouseman. And after the background check came back, showed he had an extensive prison record, they would fire him. And he would go from job to job until this happened. But one day, his uncle said to him, Jose, there's this crazy place called Homeboy Industries that's hiring. And they may hire somebody like you. So Jose goes, okay, I'll try it. What the heck, I'll try it. So he gets the number and calls them. And there's a voice on the other line that says, hi, how are you? And one of the first questions they asked him was, have you ever been in prison? And Jose thought, here we go again. But he didn't lie this time. He said, I've been in and out of prison my entire life. And the voice on the other line said, okay. Jose thought he was just hang up on him right there. But the voice said, okay, have you ever been addicted to drugs? And Jose didn't lie again. He just said, oh, what the hell, tell him the truth. I'm doing pretty good so far. I'll tell him the truth. And he says, I've been addicted to methamphetamine my entire life, he says. And the voice on the other line says, okay, do you have tattoos anywhere? And Jose says, I have tattoos all over my body, everywhere, on my face, my hands, my fingers, everywhere. I have tattoos of my gang life. So Jose drew a deep breath as he recounts it. And the voice on the other line said, okay, can you come in tomorrow for a job interview? After all that. Once enrolled in Homeboy Industries as a new enlistee, Jose began to radically improve his life. He kicked himself off drugs, got off drugs, reneged the gang life, which is dangerous for a few of these guys. And today, Jose, which is not his real name, is one of the leading directors of Homeboy Industries. He works full-time there. It's a career. He shares his expertise in drug and gang rehabilitation with new enlistees. Now, Father Greg, who runs this organization, says even after 35 years of running this rehabilitation program, he never loses his amazement at the fortitude and bravery of those who decide to leave a life of crime, prison, intimidation, fear, and violence to find a new, loving, caring family in Homeboy Industries. And Father Greg, I heard him say one time, One of his favorite songs is a freedom song called Turn Me Around. Maybe some of you have heard of it. Because it reminds him of how his new recruits, now marching ahead, marching up to Freedom Land, a world free from drug addiction, free from violence, fear, and intimidation. And these are the words of that song that I'll share with you. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. I'm gonna keep on a-walking, keep on a-marching, marching up to Freedom Land. Let us always remember that the road to Freedom Land, a land free of crime, free of drug addiction and intimidation, that road is paved with extravagant love, extravagant forgiveness, extravagant tenderness, and with this higher faith in love, a love that is the very doctrine of this church, we celebrate the inherent dignity and worth of every single person. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. Salam alaikum. Alaikum assalam. Namaste. And happy Lunar New Year. Isn't this a wonderful time? I am joined on the chancel this morning and in the sanctuary by our beloved director of music, Sonder Choi, our many talented musicians and tech team, and our newest addition to our worship life family, Johnny Canales, who this is his first time with us this morning. And I think we're going to be treated to more of his beautiful voice. So isn't that a blessing? If this is your first time joining us, or if you're still new to our congregation, I bid you a special welcome. And I hope you'll take the time to explore our beautiful new website, to learn more about our congregation, and perhaps stop by our visitor table outside and meet with our membership team. We light our flaming chalice this morning with these beautiful words from George Kimmich Beach. In the mystery of life about us, there is light. It gives us a place to be, to grow, to rejoice together. It opens the pathways to love. In this place of friendship, there is freedom. Let the light that we kindle go before us, strong in hope, wide in goodwill, inviting the day to come. Amen.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release. Oh, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us in prison. Circle for release. Oh, circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for justice, working side by side, loving one another. Draw the circle wide.
I love music, don't you? Just wonderful to hear this. Well, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of Santa Monica. I'm Johnny Canales, your worship associate, and the distinguished Reverend Jeremiah Lal Shabazz Kalendae, who serves this congregation as its wonderful developmental minister, is gracing us with his words this morning. Our worship team is delighted to be joining you in our online sanctuary this morning. Now, a little bit about us if you're new. Unitarian Universalism is not defined by creed or dogma, but is guided by principles that affirm the worth and dignity of everyone, everybody, and encourage an individual search for truth and meaning. We honor the wonder of existence and believe that we are all connected together, to each other, and to the interdependent web of life. And our beliefs, diversified as they are drawn from scripture, from science, from nature and philosophy, and of course your personal experiences in life. We are an open, affirming, and welcoming congregation. We are diverse in backgrounds, social locations, gender identities, ethnicities, sexual orientations, spiritualities, and philosophies of life. And we are united in our desire to create a diverse, loving community, to live the principles of our faith, and to serve the wider world. We acknowledge that our church building and the homes of most of our members are on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Tongva people and other indigenous tribes who lived here and cared for this land for thousands of years. We recognize and mourn the great harm inflicted on all the indigenous people of this country, and we lift up their grace, their resilience, and their relationship with these sacred lands. We welcome all of you who worship with us from Santa Monica and from across the country, from Hawaii and Alaska, from sea to shining sea. Whether this is your first time with us or you have worshiped with us all your life, and I know there are many of you that fall into that category, you are all most welcome here this morning. Now, announcements. Join us after the service for our coffee hour on Zoom with a number of small group opportunities with different discussion topics, conversations, and opportunities to get to know one another more deeply. Links will be posted as well as on our Unitarian Universalist Santa Monica Facebook group, UUSM. We offer many programs to serve our congregation and to be of service to the world. If you're interested in learning more, please join us for our visitor meetup after the service. And I think we're also having a welcome new members ceremony a little bit later in the program here. For more information about our activities and ways to get involved, take a look at our website and our newsletter, UUSM.org. Now, please rise in body and spirit, and remain standing for our covenant. Right? And the opening hymn.
Withdraw the circle wide.
Oh, okay.
So our opening hymn this morning is not in your hymnal. We will sing it once, and then we invite you to join us the second time we sing the refrain.
Draw the circle line.
And let's repeat together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la enseñanza de esta iglesia. Buscar la verdad en su sacramento. Y el servicio es la oración. Vivir juntos en paz. Buscar el conocimiento en la libertad. Servir a la humanidad en común. Así es unos de otros. You may be seated. Now, if you have a donation for the West Side Food Bank, we ask that you bring it forward to this place in our basket at this time. We have been partners collecting food for the West Side Food Bank for many years. If you would like to donate food, please bring these items they use in large quantities, like pasta sauce, protein bars, and breakfast cereal, to our collection basket each week. Our service to the world can be embodied right here each Sunday. All people, young people and adults, are encouraged to give. And I just want to say one thing. This is one of my favorite items. Anybody else like this stuff? It's Hormel chili, no beans. And my partner, Ann, she hates when I have this stuff. She grimaces. And so out of the kindness of my heart, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the West Side Food Bank. Okay, where's that little basket? I bet this will be the first thing consumed, too. Somebody like me. All right, God bless you. Oh, it's time for all ages. What I'm going to do this time, since I'm brand new at this, is I'm going to ask that the children remain seated with their folks, with their parents. And what I'll do is I'll take a microphone and I'll come down there and we'll share a few moments in our time of all ages, okay? I think we'll have some fun with it. Where's the microphone here? Oh. Can you all hear me? Okay, today's lesson, today's time for all ages, concerns extravagant kindness, which is a young person's way of saying tenderness. Extravagant kindness is what we're going to share some ideas about today, plus a little story I found. Now, I'd like you all to think, especially you kids, but also you young at heart, what it feels like when someone does something kind to you. How does it feel? Anybody? Feels good, doesn't it? Feels really good. And I know that sometimes as kids are eating at the nursery, you're sitting there as a child, and you're all done with your meal that was packed for you, and the child next to you has a whole bunch of these delicious-looking cookies. And you would love to have one, but you're too embarrassed to ask. And out of the blue, that person with the cookie says, "Hey, would you like to have one of these?" And that just makes you feel so cookie good, right? Cookie good. Now let's switch it around a little bit. And when you do something kind for somebody else, what do you think that makes them feel? How do you think that makes them feel when they receive something kind from you? Cookie good, exactly. Maybe they should be called extravagant cookie goodness. I like that. Let me tell you a little something about goodness and why it is important to us. Why do we have this need to be good to each other? Why do we come here? Why don't we just worship at home? And the reason why we need goodness in our lives to be shared is because when we're little tiny babies, we're absolutely helpless. And we need selfless, unconditional, and round-the-clock care. You know, little babies don't even know that they're separate from their caregivers until the first year and a half of their lives. You psychologists will probably back me up on this. But they think that when they're hungry, they think the whole world is hungry. Why aren't we eating? Right? And so it is something that is lit like a little fire, a little light of kindness is lit in every little baby. Because over time they begin to understand that whenever I have my needs, it's kindness that serves them. All the needs of my 4 children were served with kindness. And it was round the clock, 3 a.m., the baby's crying, I get up, I go over, I gotta feed the baby, or their mama does. It's kindness that makes us tick. Okay? And there's the little light of kindness in everyone. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, because as a baby, you need kindness in order to survive, to be fed, clothed, kept warm. And scientists tell us, this is for the grown-ups now, scientists tell us that that light of kindness is never fully extinguished in our lives. Did you know that? No matter how brutal a Nazi you may become, no matter how much like Mother Teresa you may become, and all the stress that she underwent, that light of kindness is never extinguished. And so what I'd like to do with this little moment to close things out, this reminds me of a little song, this light of kindness. Does anyone think what it is? And this is, basically it's a little children's song. Nobody knows who wrote it. Nobody. Otherwise they'd be living on a big mountaintop palace right now. It's very popular the world over. It's been translated into every language. And it's a promise to ourselves to be loving, caring, and extravagantly tender with each other whenever we can with this little light that each of us has. So I'd like you to join me in singing this wonderful little song. One verse is all we'll do. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, let's sing. Thank you so much. You should consider joining us in the choir. And to everyone else who wants to join. We're always. Let us sing our song of blessing and sing the kids out to their RE classes.
Now we're going to do something this morning we have not done in a very long time. We are going to formally welcome all of our many new members to the life of our congregation. I'd like to invite our membership committee co-chairs, Gretchen Getz and Norm Ritchie, and our church president, Eileen McCormick, up to the chancel to lead us in this ceremony.
would like to invite all our new members. So I'm going to read everybody's name, and you can come on up, and Norm will help you get situated. Trish Brassford. Yay! Johnny Canales. Johnny. Aubrey Erbis. Rebecca Haggerty. Raphael Ibe. Supriya Nair. Jasper Cope. Sheila Laffey. Victoria Nichols. And Matt Sugden. Yay.
And this is only some of our new members. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of our beloved community and our ministry to membership at the Unitarian Universalist Community Church of Santa Monica. You continue a tradition that stretches back hundreds of years and supports democracy in religious life and in our society at large. You join with hundreds of thousands of other Unitarian Universalists, those present to us in this time and those who are now among our ancestors, in committing yourselves to our high principles, values, and traditions. And you now help to carry the bright torch of our liberal religion and its light of love into the future.
Sorry. Norm and I would like to introduce all the new members with bios that they have written. And after we read your bio, we are going to invite you to step over to the lectern there and sign our church's membership book. So Norm's going to begin with bios. And also maybe ask you to step down so we know who he's talking about when he... Trish, you're first. Trish, you're first. Yay, Trish. Okay.
Today is Trish's birthday.
Oh.
So as introduction, Trish would like you to know that she was raised in a small city in western Massachusetts. After college, she worked in Boston and then received her master's degree as a family nurse practitioner from Boston University. She moved to LA and enjoyed an almost 40-year career at Harvard UCLA, doing primary pediatric and adolescent care, including a clinic for teen moms. She has one son and feels fortunate to live with him, his wife, their 3 children, and 2 dogs. She was raised in Catholicism and spent many years developing her own spiritual beliefs, which led her to our Unitarian Church. This has become her spiritual home and community that she treasures. Johnny Canales.
You're going to Hollywood.
Johnny would like the congregation to know, as if you didn't already, that he is an advocate for music, love, peace, and justice. He was born into a family of 7 children, the son of a Mexican Baptist minister and a very loving Anglo mother, both of whom led their small Latino church in Colton, California, in song and prayer. He has been a Unitarian now for about 20 years. He holds a Master's of Divinity and a Master's of Theological Studies at Claremont School of Theology. He would describe himself as agnostic and on a lifelong journey to explore a higher meaning of life and purpose here. Welcome, Johnny. Audrey Erbs, PhD. Audrey has been a UU member since the early 70s in Palo Alto. She served at UU Palo Alto in several roles, including 2 terms as board member. She was also a Sunday school teacher, a member of the choir, and an owl teacher for high schoolers. As a career, she had a career in medical marketing executive who specialized in product opportunity assessment. She is now retired and is developing a new chapter in Southern California. Welcome, Audrey. Rebecca Haggerty. Rebecca is delighted to be an official member of the UU congregation at last. She lives in Santa Monica with her husband, 2 teenage kids, and their rescue mutt. She has worked in broadcast field at NBC News in New York and public television in New York and Los Angeles. She returned to school for a doctorate in education and now teaches full-time at USC's journalism school. When her children were young, they attended UUSM periodically and have good memories of participating in friendly beast pageants and eating cookies after service. During the pandemic, she realized how much she missed having a spiritual, progressive community and decided to be an official member. In the past year, she's enjoyed working with UU the Boat Committee as well as lunches for brunches. She is a fan of running, the beach, the Dodgers, seeing new places, and trying to make the world a better place by inches and leaps. Welcome, Rebecca. Raphael Ebay. Welcome, Raphael. Raphael grew up in the Chicago suburbs. The fresh breeze and sunny days of LA suit his disposition, plus his passion for pickleball. So he's happy to be here with his wife, Suprita, and their cat and daughter, Rieta. After teaching high school English for 5 years, he is now transitioning to a position in instructional design. He was raised in a Catholic family. He has since ventured to explore different spiritual practices and finds beauty in the various spiritual lessons he encounters along the way. Naturally, he's excited to join our UU community. Welcome, Raphael.
And next, Supriya. Welcome, Supriya. Oh, okay. Is that better? Yes. Yay, okay. Supriya grew up in New Delhi, India, in an atheist family that was nevertheless interested in different religions and their practices. She currently works at the Center for Learning at UCLA. She came across the Unitarian Universalist Church in Chicago when 2 of her friends who were UU members got married there. She moved to LA with her partner, Raphael, who you just met, and their cat, Raita, and is excited to become a member of UU herself. Yay. Welcome. Okay, and next, Jasper. Jasper was born in the Netherlands and moved to the US to attend graduate school when he was 21. He lives here in Santa Monica with his wife, Shauna, and 2 kids, Zia and Quinn. He's a climate specialist at UCLA and enjoys nature in all its forms, learning new things and spending time with family and friends. Welcome, Jasper. Okay, and Sheila. Sheila is an award-winning producer and director of mostly environmental films, several of which were distributed by Green Planet Films and aired on PBS stations. She's taught film studies at several colleges, including SMC, where she ran her Green Screen Films on the Environment and Transformation series. She currently teaches film appreciation through SMC's Emeritus program. She produced the film Love Thy Nature and screened it here at UUSM in 2016 with support from the Green Committee. She loves taking folks into the great outdoors as a certified nature therapy guide, and she's happy when she's doing that, not to have to grade the trees or other folks on the trail. She's delighted to be part of this heartfelt community. Welcome, Sheila. And Victoria. Victoria Nichols. Victoria is originally from Los Angeles. She grew up playing competitive tennis throughout Southern California. She enjoys traveling to new places, hiking with her partner and dog, and spending time with family and friends, practicing meditation and taking care of her indoor plants. In her professional career, she works to improve health policies, and academically, she holds degrees in philosophy, government, and public health. Victoria came to UUSM with an open mind, an interest in learning from different perspectives, and a desire to build community. Welcome, Victoria. And Matt Sugden, last but not least. Thank you for that correction. Matt loves and is passionate about painting and photography, hiking and going on adventures. He sells his artwork and is looking forward to expanding his business in 2023. His day job as an underwriting analyst at a national bank isn't quite as exciting as his passions, but he enjoys gaining more work experience in the real estate and banking field. Matt grew up in the Unitarian Universalist Church in Berkeley. Welcome, Matt.
Well, this is really exciting. I'm very happy to be able to do this. First, to the new members, on behalf of the entire UUSM board, I want to welcome you to membership and express our joy that you've made the decision to officially join us. Together, we form a community that covenants to support one another in the search for truth and meaning. We strive to act with love in our relations with one another and with all people. We strive to work for peace and justice in the world. These are acts of hope, service, and commitment. We welcome you wholeheartedly and eagerly anticipate the new experiences and perspectives you bring. Are you ready to join us in creating our beloved community? If so, please say, we are. We are. Yay. And to the congregation, will you welcome these people and show them the power of this place? Will you work together with them in siding with love as we strive for peace and justice? Will you offer them care and comfort as they join us on our journey toward building a loving community and a better world? If so, please say, we will. We will. Yay!
So on behalf of the membership committee, we have a gift bag for all of you. The gifts include a welcome book, which is a little primer of our liberal religious heritage. They contain quote stories and history of how Unitarian Universalism has been spreading love and justice for over 500 years. We hope they provide not only inspiration, but also help you explain to family members and friends about the church you joined today. An accompanying bookmark lists our Unitarian Universalist 7 principles. There is a new UUS printed directly, hot off the press, with your names included. As you are now full partners in helping us bring more love and justice into the world. Our community is now more than it was a few minutes ago. And finally, in your bag you will find a chalice along with a candle to help brighten the path before you.
And we're going to give you the gift bags when you're sitting down, so you don't have to go down and get them right now. Before we close, in addition to our new members, our amazing new members on the Chancellor today, we would like to welcome new members who've joined recently, but were not able to participate today in the ceremony. They are Boo Domaruth, Risa Foreman, Kelly Hatfield, Elise Hook, Karen Haskell, Charles Maston, Marion Whitaker, and Jane Young. And let's give them a big hand in case they're watching. They might be watching. Welcome to them.
And lastly, thank you for the courage, the commitment, and the conviction you offered this morning. May it continue to be a blessing to this community and to our larger faith movement. And may you find your lives transformed by the decisions all have affirmed on this day. Thank you. We're going to need a bigger chancel. Thank you to those of you who joined but could not make it today, because we would have run out of room. I think, did we have 18 new members join? That is wonderful. Now let us center ourselves in this time we dedicate each week to spiritual exercise. I invite you to close your eyes and get comfortable. Allow an awareness of your breath, of your breathing, to calm your spirit and relax your body. Feel your rib cage as you breathe in and out, and remember the stability of your body and your being. Feel the pew and the earth beneath you, and know that you are held in this moment. Allow each breath to take you deeper into yourself, deeper into that peacefulness that is at the depth of your being, beneath the demands of the day, beneath all of the stresses and worries. Dive deep with each breath, through anything that keeps you from being present to your own centeredness. Dive deep into serene awareness. Let us rest in this expansive, luminous darkness within ourselves on this day of the new moon and the lunar new year. In the darkness, perhaps feel your oneness with a moonless night sky and this moment. We lift our hearts with our siblings around the globe in celebration of the Lunar New Year. Homes are decorated, lanterns are lit, and gifts of red envelopes are freely shared among loved ones. The new moon in the night sky signals a time of openness and spaciousness, a time for planting and tending to those things which we wish to come to birth, aspirations and New Year's resolutions and prayers and hopes. In the Chinese horoscope, we enter the year of the rabbit, the luckiest of the animals of this wheel of the year, and we hope for that luck in our lives and in the life of our world this year. May we be gentle and patient like the hare, finding the peace and wisdom of the forests and fields in this new cycle. May we be clever and energized like the rabbit, finding our creativity and resiliency as individuals and as a community. May this new year bring an end to global disease, misfortune, and war, and be instead a dawning of health, fortune, and peace for all. Let us hold sacred silence together for meditation and to offer whatever may be on our hearts. Universalism, the belief that divine love would save everyone, finds its contemporary expression in our first principle, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person without exception. Humanism challenged our movement to place emphasis on human agency, how we are called, each of us, to put love into action with our lives. It's perhaps easier to imagine a divine love in the abstractions of theology than it is to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person ourselves. Our early Universalist theology was, however, a radical departure from a depraved theology that insisted a strict and endlessly punishing deity was necessary to have a fair and just world where people would meet fates consistent with how they lived their lives. This is still the dominant theology in our society, now held by many religious and secular people. And it's a view that imprisons minds and hearts and keeps us from truly affirming the worthiness and the dignity of all of our siblings. White supremacy and economic oppression of the poor and the maligning of queer and transgender people, the disenfranchisement and abuse of women, community violence in its many forms, and wars between nations are all rooted in beliefs in a transcendent judgment and punishment, and by affirming a reality that is forever fractured, with divisions between people, the elect and the other, existing not only in this world, but extending all the way into eternity. The affirmation of universal love, however, and its realization through the affirmation of human goodness, dignity, and worth is a powerful medicine for our fractured world. Within our Unitarian Universalist religious tradition, we developed one of the most radical, potent, and potentially transformative doctrines ever proclaimed, in both its theistic and humanistic expressions in the history of religion. Universalism is a penetrating wisdom that cuts through imagined dualities, the illusions of otherness, and our own captivities to our limited egos. Instead of using this incalculably powerful wisdom of our tradition to wage war with the very real hells of this world, we've often resigned ourselves to treating it as a curious artifact from our history without much implication for our present world. Universalism and our first principle affirm the inherent worth, the universalisms and our first principle affirming the inherent worth and dignity of every person. It's really just about making sure people feel welcomed when they happen to pass through our sanctuary doors, right? I think it's time for us to once again rediscover and unleash the nuclear power of universal love that is at the heart of our tradition. Now, over the winter break, I had the pleasure of tapping into that power by reading Father Gregory Boyle's latest book, The Whole Language, The Power of Extravagant Tenderness. Its stories, testimonies, and insights help to inspire this morning's reflections and message. We're raising all this money all this month by sharing our generous congregation's collection plate with the organization he founded, Homeboy Industries, which you've heard is the largest gang intervention, rehabilitation, and re-entry program in the world, and it's located right here in the City of Angels. Gregory Boyle is a Jesuit priest who's familiar to our community, and he led worship here decades ago, was a Reverend Ernie Pipes Distinguished Guest Lecturer, worked with ancestors of our community on important justice projects, and some of our contemporary congregational leaders have even served in the leadership of Homeboy. I had the pleasure of having lunch with some of our congregational leaders at the Homegirl Cafe earlier this week, and I want to encourage you to try the outstanding chilaquiles in addition to reading this excellent book about embodying what it means to really embody universalism and our first principle. I hope to distill a few of the revolutionary teachings that Reverend Boyle and Homeboy communities are embodying every day in their work to quench the flames of hells burning hot in so many lives and in our world. Now, we have to begin the journey to a radical societal transformation, and to this transformation that the Homeboy community envisions for our society by affirming the goodness that is the essence and birthright of every person. Father Boyle reflected, it's not about discovering your good qualities and making them better, nor is it about finding your potential for good. A donor once said to me that I didn't see gang members when I saw the homies, but that I only saw potential. Not quite. I only wanted to see goodness. None of us want to settle for reaching our full potential when we can inhabit fullness. We find our true selves in loving, in the verb of it, the action of it. Otherwise, we get stuck in the noun of it. What seeks perfection is not ourself, but our love, and allowing the free flow of tenderness in the world. If loving stays a verb, tenderness doesn't seek or care about its return on its loving investment. It finds its full measure of goodness in this loving. So when we love someone, we begin to perceive their wholeness, and we in turn live into our own wholeness as loving and tender beings. We can't affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of anyone unless we're willing to suspend judgment and witness to wholeness. And the same is true for ourselves. Love invites us to transcend these dualities that we live in of self and other, of good and bad, of shame and pride, to witness to a fundamental wholeness. We have to move beyond our judging deity and vengeful ego. They may be the same reality after all, to embrace an ever-transcending mystical awareness of universal love, compassion, and mercy. Judgment, Father Boyle reflected, keeps us stuck in the partial view. All of us get up in the morning, place our feet on the floor, and hit the ground judging. We can't help ourselves, though we can catch ourselves. Consequently, at Homeboy Industries, mysticism is our core competency, he writes. The therapeutic mysticism at Homeboy chooses love as the architecture of our hearts. It puts judgment on check. It develops a warmth for everything that comes its way and rests in the center of it. When we are whole, that's what we see in others. We choose to live in our hearts. Homie Stevie Avalos says, we see the homie's heart until they can see their own. When they leave here, they then see other hearts. Mysticism then sees connectedness. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence, our seventh principle. And when we perceive and then affirm a deep interrelatedness of all things and the unity, the wholeness in which it is rooted and by which it is sustained. A transcending mystical awareness of universal love, wholeness, and interrelationship challenges us to connect the dots, to perceive the whole picture, and not simply embrace the accepted narratives, diagnoses, and solutions of culture and society. In prison, folks panic about appearing before the parole board, Father Boyle reflected. Homies have to comb their lives for traces of character defects, feel remorse for their actions, never minimize their crimes, and convince the board that they are no longer the person they were at the time of the crime. Never mind that the people locked up are as much victims as perpetrators. We want to hold the wounded and the person who did the wounding because we are always both. The decarceration movement can't make much headway unless we reconcile ourselves to this truth. Prosecutorial overreach, I suppose, is the very opposite of the mystical view, since it's unable to see the whole picture, and it can't get beyond or underneath the criminal act. Hence, they have the freedom to imprison whomever they want for as long as they wish. They don't see the goodness. Elsewhere, he keenly observed, sure, gangs cause problems, but it's also true that problems cause gangs. We have a high regard for isolating symptoms and a very low regard for addressing the undergirding problems. Same critique of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. We make scapegoats of individuals and criminal acts to avoid having to address the underlying causes. Our society engages in this kind of deceptive reductionism that sacrifices understanding complexity to have a simple and digestible answer, regardless of how incorrect it may be. If we accept that the malady is in the individual and not an expression of a sick system and a broken culture, then we're no longer obligated to change anything. Politicians, religious leaders, corporate interests, and the mass media actively deludes society so that this farce of criminalizing people who are victims themselves continues unabated. So often we acquiesce to this false narrative because it allows us to abscond ourselves from our roles in allowing these conditions to persist, and to live instead believing that we're simply morally superior than those people who do those bad things. We fail to recognize the fact that under the same circumstances, we would likely make the same bad decisions. There's nothing morally superior about us. So we lock people up in inhumane prisons to experience more abuse and then look the other way. While systemic racism, misogyny, mental illness, domestic abuse, gun violence, underfunded schools, homelessness, and the war on poor people, the real demons of this world, continue to consume lives, communities, and cultures. And these vicious cycles perpetuate these very real hells on earth. Reverend Boyle observes, we seem to accept the stance of the world articulated by the four horsemen of the apocalypse: war, famine, sickness, and death. And yet Jesus says, well, how about peacemaking and feeding the hungry and healing the sick and bringing the dead to life? I'll have what he's having. I say we wage war with this stance of our judging world that is destroying so many lives by scapegoating our most vulnerable siblings who are as much victims as they are perpetrators. We can no longer accept the perpetuation of these societal cycles of violence and oppression and victimization. We have to break these cycles with the penetrating wisdom of wholeness and the liberatory power of universal love. We have to follow the prophetic lead of those already engaged with this ministry of spiritual redemption, healing, and justice. And we have to unleash that transcending love of our tradition that holds all in its embrace. Being tender is to tend to people, Father Boyle reflects, to land on the love that does not judge and that softens us into a corner. I was born, Sufi mystic Rabia of Basra writes, when all I once feared, I could love. Tenderness finds the enduring energy of love that sustains everything. To the inherent goodness, worth, and dignity of all people, and to the abolition of prisons. Amen, and blessed be.
I would invite everybody to go and look up Father Greg Boyle's writings. He's on YouTube giving speech after speech on these subjects, and it's really transformative what he says. as some of my Christian friends that I've turned on to Father Greg Boyle's writings, some of them said, Jesus has returned. This guy is the embodiment of love. He makes love into a verb instead of just a noun. We are a community that works for more than ourselves. Our practice here at UUSM is to dedicate half of our Sunday offerings to organizations doing work in the world that resonates with our Unitarian Universalist principles. The other 50% of the offering is used to support the life of our church. This month, half of our Sunday offerings will go to Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles, and there are 3 ways to give: over text, through our website, or by mailing a check. Now, considering our focus today on extravagant tenderness, taken from the title, part of the title of Father Greg Boyle's new book, let me share with you the following. It is so fitting that today's theme of extravagant tenderness becomes, in this special moment of togetherness here, extravagant giving. With our support, with our giving, we send a powerful message to those struggling to help themselves. It says we care. We care enough to give some of what we have, that we may support the Homeboy empowerment of hope and opportunity. It says we do support you in your request for a better life, a life of promise and joy and well-being. Now, each of us at one time or another in our lives, in our own lives, need this love and tenderness, the extravagant love and tenderness of one another in our hour of need. This is one of those hours of need. This is our offertory time. And so I'm asking each of you to think about extravagant giving, extravagant love and tenderness in your offering this morning. And remember that as we help them in our offering this morning, they help each other to ensure each member will successfully complete this life-changing program. If their motto was put into a song, it would be this one. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. We appreciate your generous gift. Thank you.
Today
This is 1053 in your teal hymnals. How could it?
May you go in peace and hold fast to that which is good, returning to no person evil for evil, but strengthen the faint of heart, support the weak, help the afflicted, honor all beings. May you go forth into this day and be blessed, and may you be that blessing. Amen.